Of experience as a leader in Rotary, but she's about to take on her most important role to date, president. Please welcome your president nominee from the Rotary Club of Windsor-Roseland, Ontario, Canada, Jennifer Jones.
I'm standing here at the most southern point of Canada. It's a spit of sand that dips into Lake Erie, one of the Great Lakes shared between Canada and the United States. It's a national park named by the French explorers, Point Pelée, meaning bald point because of this treeless V that dips towards the south. It's here that the metamorphosis of the monarch butterfly unfolds every year. It's when a small caterpillar goes into a protective cocoon and later breaks out to reveal itself as the regal monarch. And here we are today, each of us in our own cocoons, waiting for the day when once again we can spread our wings and fly. We've spent much of the last year coping with what the world has placed before us. President Holger spoke eloquently about the care that we have shown each other and how important it is to recognize how our bonds of fellowship have provided wind to our wings. And we've learned new ways to take flight in service across the globe as the pandemic has continued. I am overjoyed that President-elect Shaker has turned the spotlight onto Rotary service at a time when the world needs us most. One of my favorite quotes comes from Albert Einstein, who said, "Strive not to be of success, but rather to be of value." There is so much value we can give to the world today. Preventing disease is one of our areas of focus, and ending polio has created a global infrastructure that can help bring this pandemic to an end. But just as important, Rotary's values and our ethos of service above self provide some of the greatest value of all. Together, we can help rebuild from these difficult times, and together, we illuminate hope. One of my experiences in Rotary helps to illustrate how that is possible. A few years ago, my husband Nick and I attended a district conference in Jordan. It was held just outside of Amman, and the opening ceremonies were in a beautiful amphitheater overlooking the Dead Sea. There were a few speeches, and then we sat and enjoyed a wonderful dinner under the stars. It was there that I was introduced to Dr. Mark Turpentine from Indianapolis. Mark was in the country to conduct a Gift of Life mission. They provide open heart surgery to children that wouldn't be able to normally access such a procedure. On the last day of our stay, just hours before heading to the airport, the governor asked if we'd like to visit Dr. Mark at the hospital. This was the first day of the surgical team mission, and I jumped at the chance. I was quickly dressed in surgical greens and then quietly entered the operating theater. And there was Dr. Mark performing surgery. I didn't want to breathe. He was standing here, there was a nurse over there, and an anesthetist over there. A few minutes later, he looked up and he said, "Jen, when did you come in?" Quietly, I replied, "Just a few minutes ago." And then he said, "Come on over and let me show you what I'm doing." So I walked up, and there was a patient, completely covered, with the exception of a small square opening over the heart. Dr. Mark was stitching a patch about the size of a quarter onto a hole in the heart. He introduced me to 6-month-old baby Selma, a refugee from Syria. I watched in amazement as he stitched with great precision, and every once in a while he would say to the anesthetist, "Warm it up a little." Finally, he finished stitching, and he jiggled the heart a bit to make sure there were no leaks. And then he looked over again and said, "Okay, warm it up." And at that moment, little Selma's heart started to beat. I hadn't noticed that her heart wasn't beating. And at that moment, I watched her come back to life. What a gift. And then I went out into the hallway and I met her parents, and I was able to tell them that I just saw Selma's heart beating and that she is going to run and she is going to play, and she is going to be great. That's how I see the world coming out of this pandemic. Rotary has a great opportunity to patch the world's heart, and we'll do that through our commitment to global health, to emerge from the chrysalis casing of the past year and further spread Rotary values, Rotary fellowship, and Rotary's endless commitment to service. Like the emerging monarch, we have the chance to rid ourselves of this cocoon and to take flight. We will exit this pandemic poised to build a better world, a better community, and to be better ourselves.
Thank you for those remarks, Jennifer. We look forward to all that you will accomplish as Rotary's president nominee. As the first woman to ever fill this role, this is a very exciting time. Now, everyone's year as a district governor is bookended by Rotary events. It begins here at the International Assembly, and it comes to a close with a vibrant celebration at the International Convention. Next year's International Convention will be held in Houston, Texas, USA. There, you will be able to say hello to old friends and make new Rotary connections. To tell us more about what to expect from next year's International Convention, please welcome from the Rotary Club of Naples, Florida, USA, the 2022 International Convention Committee Chair, John C. Smarge.